Greetings agents, FiOth here, and in this vid I'm coming to you with a review of the Silver Ghost, the starting pistol that Leon begins the game with and sports a 5-time crit chance if you get its exclusive upgrade. Like with my Sentinel-9, I'm gonna be talking about what this entails. There'll be a bit of comparison between the two, and I'm gonna be talking numerical values when it comes to the flat stats and what you can expect from this weapon if you're lucky in comparison to what you can expect if you're not lucky. Because at the end of the day, the 5-time crit chance has to be not 0, so the multiplier will help you, and if you are unlucky AF like I've been for the majority of my playthrough testing this thing, it will feel like a subpar pistol that you keep firing without getting much in terms of results. One thing that I have to underline here is that I'm doing all my testing on professional, and on professional the Ganados have a shitload of health. If you're not playing professional, let's say you're playing standard, you don't really have to worry that much about the flat damage number in comparison to the crit number, because enemies are logically balanced when it comes to their health. If you're feeling very lucky, this can be one of your favorites. So let's break it down, see how it compares, and make an informed decision about whether or not we should be using the Silver Ghost. So here we are with my boy Leon, straight out of Siberia, wearing that cap and Ashley sporting her sexy red glasses. Let's see what the Silver Ghost is all about. So the Silver Ghost is Leon's starting gun. It stays a custom handgun made for Leon while keeping the basic design of the MUP. Its parts were carefully chosen and machined to improve performance. It's a gun you start with. It's compatible with the laser sight, and its power is 2, pretty standard number, ammo capacity of 18, reload speed of 1.4, rate of fire of 152, and precision of 4. Precision of 4 you are really gonna feel only if you are not using the laser sight, because you have to compensate for bloom like this. But if you are using the laser sight, you're always good to go, because the gun becomes pinpoint accurate. You will fire and you'll always land your bullets on where this laser is pointing. It's special, like the Sentinel-9 that I reviewed some weeks back, states that it's 5 times the crit. Overall, the stats of the gun are pretty healthy, but as I stated with my Sentinel-9 analysis, these are weapons that ultimately rely on this, the 5 times critical rate chance, which is RNG. Okay, Silver Ghost is a little bit more powerful of a bullet, but has much smaller mag capacity, so you choose either of those according to your preference. 19 is pretty good. It's 18 plus 1 in the chamber, so you have a pretty good amount of bullets to work with before you have to reload. The real difference is the ammo capacity, and next to that the guns perform pretty comparably. Like the rate of fire here is 152, and the rate of fire on the Sentinel is 2. Not insanely different if you pace your shots instead of just spamming bullets straight up, but other than that, they're pretty comparable. They're pretty much the same gun. What I wanna focus on, as I did with the Sentinel-9, is that you get a special that is pretty much relying on RNG. As you saw in the opening clip, you can shoot heads, but you are not really guaranteed those 1 bullet head pops. On higher difficulty settings, Ganados have a shitload of health, even the simple enemies. So you either hope you will land the crit and finish an enemy real quick, or you will have to use this meager firepower here to pop them again and again and again and hope for the best. Matilda boasts 2 power, and it fires like an SMG. The Punisher boasts 1.9 and goes through up to 5 targets. So you lose a lot of utility or potential damage for hoping that you will get a crit and insta-gib an enemy. Generally, and I spoke about in the comparison of the Butterfly and the Killer 7, I don't want to rely too much on RNG in this game. In case of Magnums, of course, the ammo is very valuable, and you have to hope that one of those few bullets that you will be firing throughout the playthrough will be a crit and do that huge chunk of damage. But all in all, relying on RNG is not the best thing you can do for consistency. Yeah, it can lead to some pretty interesting results if you are lucky, like getting 3 enemies in a row with 3 bullets that are abundant because 9mm is everywhere. But if you are not lucky, you're dealing meager damage at a pretty standardized rate of fire without much to show for it. There are people who feel extremely lucky with this thing. I know you will comment, oh, I like popping them back to back with crits. Yeah, man, I guess you do, but I am not sure how often it happens, or you're just waiting for it like it's Christmas, and when it happens, you're so excited that you'll say, that happens all the time, you know? But nah, it really doesn't. It's not that consistent. It's not that big of a chance that you'll have something to show for it in the end. Both this and the Sentinel-9 are guns that will ultimately get the job done. There is no useless pistol in Resident Evil 4 Remake, but to be totally honest with you, I'd take a Blacktail or a Red 9 for the consistency of the damage over any of the weapons in this game that rely on RNG for the 5 times crit chance. Your pistol is your bread and butter in each playthrough, is the one weapon that you will be using again and again and again from start to finish to get through the majority of the enemies, which are Ganados. They're the small fries, the shock troops. If this tool cannot deliver on the promise of its crits, and you just end up hoping that you will land them and they never come, you're not getting too much bang out of your back. It is a useful weapon. It is a weapon that can be utilized. Don't get me wrong. It's not useless by any means. But it lacks a lot of consistency like its brother, the Sentinel. Why wouldn't you go for consistently good damage? The Red 9's firepower is twice this, and it will happen with every single bullet. Of course, there we're looking at very small ammo capacities, and you need to have a stock, and it's a ton of room, and so on and so forth. But the consistency, man, that also applies to the Blacktail. I know there's a Blacktail crowd out there that swears by Blacktail's name. Blacktail is great as well, although the ammo capacity sucks. We talked about it. So, this is my Silver Ghost review and a little bit of comparison with the Sentinel-9. I've covered most of the guns in Resident Evil 4 Remake, people, so I'd love for some of your feedback on those vids as well. If you want to watch them, you can get started right here. Until next time, be well, stay frosty, and always strive for perfection. Cheers!